Got a spooky one today. We're going to be learning the scariest and creepiest chords that you can play on the piano. There's 6 chords or 6 kind of chord intervals that I'm going to talk you through. And then there's also a bonus little tip at the very end. So make sure you stay around for that. I hope these tips help you compose music if you're composing for film, or if you just want to kind of have a bit of fun with the piano with your mates or whatever. They're kind of funny little chords and melodies to play, so I really hope you enjoy this one. I'm going to base a lot of this off this video I saw. I'll link it down below. It's mainly for guitarists, so if you're a guitarist, that's the perfect video for you, but it's a very helpful video going through all these kind of chords and intervals, very well explained as well. So if you're a guitarist, that's definitely one to go and watch right now. Leave that down below. We're going to start off with the first one being a minor flat 6 chord. I'm going to be using D minor to kind of base a lot of these around. For this one, especially if you know your harmonic minor scale, this one. That's the harmonic minor scale. The natural minor scale is this. The only difference there is this note here. It's raised for the harmonic minor and it's flat for the natural minor. So yeah, this is a really cool kind of eerie chord to play as well. When you play the A with it, it becomes a bit kind of clustered and dissonant. And as we're going through these tips, you'll see that dissonance plays a huge part in kind of horror music in general. That's the chord of D minor, and you just basically, you go to the 6th and then you flatten it. Love that chord. The second chord, a minor add 9 chord, is a really handy one. It's not as kind of dark as the last one. Well, depending on how you play it, but we're going to use D minor again. And the 9th is basically, say the higher D is the 8th note. You stretch it one further, that's the 9th. Which is kind of hard to play with just the one hand. So I mean, you can always do this. A trick here as well, if you want to take the high E and play it down here instead, it basically becomes add 2, the second, and that's going to be a lot more dissonant, like the previous chord we played. And if you want to add the C, that's the 7th basically, just to make it a bit more, full. In horror music specifically, if you go with the low octaves, contrasting it with the high, it's really cool. Piano's shaking it. Just playing kind of notes in the D minor scale here with the left. Yeah, you get the picture. Great chord to learn and have under the belt. Next chord, we're going to go for a minor major 7th. So again, with the harmonic scale in mind. This is the scales, the harmonic scales that I learned from my grades anyway. A lot of grades would have these. How you get that is you go to the relative major of whatever minor key you're in. So say the relative major to D minor is F, and the F scale is this, which is the 1 B flat. So you keep that scale, and then you just play from D to D. Now that's the natural minor, but for the harmonic minor, you want to raise the second last note by just a half step. As well, for all of these chords, I've made a free chord guide down below. You can just download that and have it on hand while going through any of these tutorials. Really helpful document to just get your head around all chords and chord patterns, common chords of each key, scales, all that kind of stuff. Download that in the description now. But yeah, this minor major 7th chord is like a spy detective chord. So it's like, that's how it goes there. So we're just going to go D minor and then that second last note in the harmonic scale. And what you want to do is play like a glissando, kind of glide from here to there. Now everyone recognizes that sound. Very kind of spy detective kind of sound, and not as kind of eerie or dark, but it's a really funny one to kind of have as a little sound effect if you're messing around with the piano. The next one is an interesting one. It's called an augmented major seventh. So taking D again in mind, we're going to play D major, right? But instead we're going to move this A to B here. We're playing the sixth here. We're going to play again that C sharp that we played, and then we're going to add in a higher D. Now, again, it's a bit of a struggle playing all of these notes on just the right hand. You can always just move a few to the left, so if you want to just focus on these. Well, this is really interesting. Especially if you play it in those high keys. And all of the notes in each of these chords I'm laying out for you. You don't necessarily have to play them all in the one go at the same time in a block kind of way. You can kind of split it up like however way you want. This next point is a bit of an interval as opposed to chords, but if you play a flattened fifth in the scale that you're in, so say we're in D minor and we go to the fifth here, we flatten that so we get an A flat. We play an A flat minor. So going from this down to this is really cool and so common in scary films. Don't be afraid to mess around with the left hand octaves as well with all of these chords. So what I did there was, as I'm on this flattened fifth, with the left hand just kind of go down chromatically before playing D. That's really cool. So that jumping from this up to this and then down again. I love this as well when you make like a melody over it. You can really make a soft, eerie piano melody over this one when you're playing it. Horror music is arguably one of the easiest kind of genres of music to play on piano, because if you make a mistake, it kind of comes off like you've done it on purpose, because cluster chords and cluster notes are so common in it. So what I mean by that is this. I'm on this chord here that we just learned. I just made a mistake there in the right hand by playing an E minor instead of a D minor, but it kind of just still sounds fine. And then if I like get the wrong flat, for example, up here, I'm playing a B flat minor instead of a flat minor. It kind of still sounds kind of cool and clustered and like scary enough or whatever. Just saying yourself back down to it. So yeah, it's a definite kind of great fun genre to have a bit of crack with on the piano. The sixth tip is using cluster chords, which I just mentioned there, but they're effectively just a mess of notes all conjugated together, and because they're so messy, they don't really necessarily have a name. I'm sure you could probably, if you did some serious digging, name every combination of notes that you play on the piano, but I mean, for the most part, yeah, we'll just say that these are chords that just are so messy that they don't have a name to them. Often, if you know your chromatic scale, definitely, if there's one thing to practice for this genre, practice your chromatic scale. So you just do It's just a scale basically of just half steps up the piano, starting from whatever note you want. And these cluster chords are just a mix of notes like that. So if we're playing like A, B flat together, add in an A flat to that, add in G. So Alfred Hitchcock used this in the shower scene. You know that I'm probably getting these notes wrong, but it's a really cool one to play on the piano. Let me know if you want an exact tutorial on that. I can do one up. Really cool. So yeah, just learn your chromatic scale and then come up with some cluster notes to play. Now for the bonus tip, any nursery rhyme on the piano in a very high octave is really creepy and good to play in a horror sense. So I'm going to just use Mary Had a Little Lamb as an example. If you play it kind of slowly up the octave here, it really creates an eeriness. And even just single high notes on the piano, you can imagine a film movie trailer before something bad is about to happen. And if you want, you can add in your own kind of cluster notes there as well for it. And what I did there, I slammed down an A root note because we're in this key of C major with this one. And the relative minor of that, minors are very sad and kind of melancholic. Relative minor of that is A. So if we whack down an A octave as we're playing this, it has that correct kind of interval that you're looking for. And then even just an A flat. But yeah, have fun with that. You can imagine that just ending before something massive and climatic happens. That's the tip. Have fun with that. Rewind them. Definitely hit the link below to check out the video I watched on the guitar there. He went through a lot of these same chords, but I'm just doing a kind of a piano version of this. I'm also offering 101 tuition classes, so if you want, definitely go ahead and book them. My calendar is down below in the description. Other than that, make sure you've downloaded that free chord Bible. It's a great free resource for you to use and have on hand. And yeah, sure, have a good Halloween. Until next time, let me know what you want to see next.